What up, Issa? I'm playing what's called a Santor. I'm playing a musical instrument called a santor.
That's what was making the sound?
Yeah.
Oh, I see. You're not streaming anyone?
I'm live streaming this. I'm on YouTube. I'm playing music on YouTube.
No hatred to that? Oh, like that. How are you?
You think I'm like? Oh, I see what you're saying.
No, if you're not streaming any rooms.
Yeah, I see.
I actually like your rooms. It's like a hideout, because all the people that don't like you, which are the noisy ones, they don't come in here.
Well, you could say I'm pure ego, so it's like you're hiding out in my ego.
Yeah, right, like that. And actually, the people I like Max Zed and my friend and Mike, they come here, and it's nice to have chats with them. Right, Max Zed?
Yes, that is correct.
You know, Mixed, I heard you yesterday. You're just you're very relaxed. I haven't heard you get angry in quite a while.
I've been in the atheist spaces. Those places don't make me very angry.
It's kind of funny.
Why not?
I think you're like placating them, where you're asking like baby questions, in order to essentially just like facilitate the conversation. I think.
Well, see, like, here's the thing. Most people don't think about metaphysics. It often doesn't matter that much. People shouldn't think too much about it. But of the people that like metaphysics, it's a select few that will discuss them, and even a smaller segment that will discuss them with an open mind. Most people that want to discuss, like, deep philosophical concepts do it within a strict school. There's the Catholic way, the Orthodox way, the Islamic way, the Jewish way. Those are schools. There's deeper metaphysics within those schools. But to have like a purely open-minded, like people that don't subscribe to any particular school, but want to discuss metaphysics, kind of got to be in the atheist spaces.
Yeah. I mean, I guess my critique is that I don't think they understand your position, meaning that you're having a conversation, but like you don't even seem to have a point in the conversation. It's almost like your point is no point, or maybe I'm projecting. I don't know.
No, there's some truth there. Like, I think a lot of what they're doing is pointless. I'm just more like listening to them, which, that'd be why you get the sense that I'm placating them. To some degree, like, I do think, like, all of the theories of philosophies and metaphysics are basically just schools of people. And, like, the atheists just always kind of strike me as a mix between the kindergarten class that refuses to graduate and, like, the smoking nihilists out by the dumpsters. There's some mix between those two groups. And I've always liked those groups. I like kindergarten. I like smoking out behind the dumpsters.
I love it how you put it. I like kindergarten.
Yeah. Like, they don't get into the deeper... They don't get into deeper metaphysics because they're not committed to one of the schools. Like, they usually try to develop their own... They either try to stay harsh skepticism, don't take any position, and simply reject all the positions asserted. Then they usually develop, if they're interested, and they develop their own position, and then they're limited because they develop their own position. Chances are they got like one modern philosopher with that position, so they haven't seen. There just isn't much literature or commentary to support their position, or where it might contradict with other things they want to do. I'm saying that they're trying to follow their own mind, and that's commendable, but they're naturally then hampered by the abilities of their own mind, and maybe like one teacher that they find. It's a limitation to leave the school. Generational development on consideration of a single topic.
I think I get what you were saying, and I'm trying to think that might be what happens to me sometimes. But at the same time, it's like I don't ascribe to any specific idea, and kind of like my mind jumps from one place to the other.
Okay, so that's like the more primary point, which I wanted to highlight. No one needs to think or discuss any of these issues, like, at all. Most, like 99% of people will live a much better life, not thinking into the deep metaphysics and underpinnings of reality and morality. They would do much better to simply know, a couple of basics, and then how to be good, and they'd be fine. That's really what should be done. However, the mind is capable of conceiving of these metaphysic ideas, these underpinnings, and it's worthwhile to pursue. There's a verse that discusses people that love to study metaphysics. It describes them as like two ways. One, God brings those dear to him close, implying that a focus on the study of metaphysics could result in ill health and an early death. And the other is if you eat too much honey, you get sick. The honey is like the metaphysics, the sweetest, most elegant ideas that are not even bound by the physical world anymore. Honey. But it makes you sick. Meaning it's a sweet, delicious, beautiful thing. But in the end, you are not an angel. You've got a fleshy body. You live on Earth. You gotta do stuff. And like, it's an imbalance of focus on like the spiritual components of man rather than the terrestrial. So like your refusal, like disavowal, like disdain for all the investigation, that's good and that's healthy. Like there's value in there, but you're not going to greatly improve your existence as like a living person or trying to live out the heart.
I don't care whether God is a temporal or non-temporal, or it's infinite or finite.
Right.
Whatever. It's like it's not going to change my life, as I say. But to me, it's fun to entertain this kind of like intellectual experiment, in your brain, like what makes sense. And then I like listening to the people coming up with stuff and making sense of it. However, I also notice, like, I don't ascribe to a specific thing, but if you tell me, okay, if we're going to look at it under Christianity or under the Bible, it's like I try to make an effort to understand it under that framework, within that framework. Now, what I saw that they would say is that he wasn't able to leave his teachings of Islam. He wasn't able to conceptualize something that contradicted that, and that was frustrating to me.
Yeah, it's pretty common. A lot of people, when they investigate other cultures, it's usually through the prism of their own culture. It's not an easy thing to understand, appreciate, and accept a foreign culture on its terms rather than yours.
I think that is one of the errors that we have, in the West, when we try to make sense of Islam, and we're trying to understand it within our own framework of Judaism or Christianity, think that they're the same as us.
Right. Well, it's more than that. Like a thumb was put on the scale, right? things, I feel like comfortable exploring them because I already know what my practice is.
Yeah, it's not like talking about it will sway you
No.
from your faith. Yeah.
Yeah. Every once in a while that comes up. Cynic likes to accuse me of being an atheist.
Really?
Yeah. A lot of Muslims like to call me an atheist because it's difficult for them to reckon with Zionism with religious Jew. Because normally they want to take it to like a modern political stance. So if I was an atheist, then they could just say there was a crime committed in 48. But if they acknowledge that I'm Jewish and religious, they don't really separate the politics from the religion. They do have a religious basis.
Exactly.
And that is
a huge difference.
And then, but then it gets complicated because their religious conviction, in their opinion, supersedes mine. Yet they also have innate within their religious opinion that I don't believe that their religious position supersedes mine. It's such a convoluted conversation for them to discuss Zionism with me, a religious Jew.
It is, and discussing anything with a Muslim, I think it requires mental gymnastics.
That's because they have a fascist ideology holding them together like glue. So the real book they should be reading is 1984. They need to understand the concept of doublethink. Also,
but they're not allowed to. That's the thing. The book forbids them to think outside of the book. Any concept that might put at risk or contradicts anything of the book.
Prevent people from reading something. That's the easiest way to get them to start reading it.
Yeah, but this is the way that they approach everything from the foundation of their religion. And when you hear the imams, like preaching or saying things to them, I've heard some saying like, "Oh, you're so lucky that everything was given to you, so you don't need to go and explore philosophy. You don't need to go and search for the truth because it was given to you." How beautiful is that, they say?
No, there's an important thing about going through life and having the truth set out for you. In truth, that's a lot of what your ancestors want. You to understand the way the world works and then explore the way that it continues to develop.
What do you think about, fear and trembling? Meaning that, the more you know, the more you know, the more you don't know, but also the more you know, because the more you don't know, the fear comes in, or the trembling of God, where it's you have to accept personal responsibility, and you say to yourself, "Oh, geez, I can't be a terrible person because now that I know, or now that I know that I don't know." I mean, it's basically like maturation or maturity. I mean, there's just a lot of.
It's not that I don't think it's that the more you know, the more you don't know. It's the more you know, the more you realize that your knowledge pales in comparison to what you don't know. Right? Meaning it's not like you lost the knowledge you gained. It's that you gained it, and in gaining it, you realize that you were only looking at a small corner of a massive tapestry. And you didn't notice that at first, because at first you just saw everything as blue and green. It looked nice. Then you widened your gaze and saw all of the black and the white. And you realized this was a massive design. That's why the more you know, the more you know that you know nothing.
And then you realize it's all white.
White supremacy.
There you go.
Right. I had oral surgery yesterday with an light.
Everything is light.
Yeah.
So wait, isn't that the ultimate metaphysic then? And what is light then?
Well, light was created on the first day. Vayehi or.
See, the Bible is real.
There you go.
Well, I mean, it's more than just that. I mean, light as a science.
Yeah, and they always have, it is like, follow the light, go towards the path of truth, the creative force of the universe. There's one creator of all the things, right? That is the simple basics. You can get past it in kindergarten. It's just unpacking what that means. You could spend your whole life, you'll never fully unpack it, which is why it's so funny.
I came up with not an analogy, but an acronym, because I came out of a very intense meeting one time, a work meeting, and I said to this coworker, I said, I swear to God, I feel like this is just an anger simulator. And I said, do you know what the first three letters of light means? Lig. And he said, what? I said, let it go. That's what light means, let it go. And then then I was complaining later on and getting angry, and he's like, hey buddy, lig, let it go, let it go. I was like, oh, you're right, let it go, let it go.
Hey buddy, lig.
Let it go. However, terrorize.
Well, you said God is the creation of everything, with exception of time.
No, that's a mistake.
No, according to Satan.
And he gave an explanation as to why he was doing that. It was an old idolatry excuse. He wants to relate to his God, or he wants his God to be like worried about tomorrow, have some righteous rule that he's working with him on.
Don't you think time is just a compression of the past and the future?
That time is just a compression of the past and future. I'm agnostic as to whether or not the past and future exist.
Yeah, so I mean, according to us, the now is all there is. And so that's what I'm saying, the past and the future are compression. Thus, part of enlightenment is knowing that time is not even just relative, it doesn't actually exist, because there's only this thing called the eternity, infinity, or the now.
Could be. Could be the past is a thing. It would also be interesting if the past was a thing, but it doesn't exist the way we've been tracking it, right? We record the past digitally, but existence is only ever analog, right? Our sense of like 12 years ago and 5 years ago, based upon the events, are all very different from our objective measure. It'd be weird if the past was actually more like organic and fluid than our records indicate. Sequential, digital.
There's this YouTube account that takes historical photos and then does AI video generation from the image, and it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, the capacity we have to educate is growing.
Well, what I mean is, it's like taking a moment frozen in time and then creating thousands of images from that primary image. And so part of the problem now is that no one has like a video image of the past to a high degree of expansion, meaning there's not like a lot of terabytes in the brain about the year 420 AD or something to that extent, meaning that if you knew how crazy history really is, maybe it would prevent people from doing crazy things today. Like October 7th wouldn't have happened if there was some methodology, tool, or technology to prevent that type of sociopathic, psychotic, murderous, terrorist behavior.
Wouldn't it be amazing, comedy, to create, now that we live in this virtual world thing, you know, that there is a program or an app that makes you travel to the genocide, to the Jewish genocide in the Second World War, and makes you be a Jew from the day. And it's like a quiz, right? And you can take this. And so you need to play the role of the people that suffered, right? back in the day and actually experience, like see Hitler speak in real time and look at the people, the Germans, how they were acting, and how you had to hide and you have this family and whatever, like a model, and then because you're living it in a artificial way, in a virtual way, augmented reality, then you will feel it more directly. That should be the way that history should be told, don't you think? And people would experience it in real life.
How do you do an alternate timeline?
What do you mean?
Obviously, we use the flux capacitor.
You don't see what things you could have done to prevent that from happening, or what values you could have put in place, you know?
There's no easy way to teach people history. It's probably one of the most important subjects for people to cover, but, it's an evolving methodology. People have always told their own stories about the past.
But is the past still going on right now?
Is the past going on right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, for our descendants. But who knows how they'll see it?
But I mean, like, you know how, like, with, like, light and time and, like, they say, like, if you look at Earth, you can see, like, the dinosaurs if you're at the right, like, far away enough?
Yeah, because the light is still bouncing away from Earth somewhere far away.
And then Einstein said he was just a point, like, when he died.
What about the metaphysic though of infinity, meaning that you're not aware of your past lives, but like the metaphysic theory would say that you've always been alive to maybe in some form. Have you ever had a feeling of like deja vu or something where maybe I've never had that feeling. I've heard people tell me, "Hey, do you believe in past?" No, like past life deja vu.
Oh, I have deja vu.
Past life deja vu. Yeah. My friend says deja vu is a good thing. That means things are synchronizing, and it's like it's an indication of a good way.
There was a great Stephen King story. I think the title was "That Word in French, I Don't Know What." I think.
Je ne sais quoi.
No, but they were looking for deja vu.
Oh.
Like the bit of the story was, I think a guy got like stuck in a hell of deja vu.
Have you guys ever had like so strong synchronicities that you actually like get scared? As in like you think someone is really trying to communicate with you? Like extremely coincidences.
Well, I mean, someone's trying to communicate with you. Always probably best to listen.
Is Emma there?
Leave her name, number, and a brief message. I'm sure to get back to you as soon as possible.
Yeah, sometimes he leaves the phone, goes to a toilet, goes to canteen or drink
Nisa, are you going to be in Switzerland this summer?
Yes, are you planning to visit?
Not Switzerland, but I do plan to be in Italy, if you're willing to come down. is north of Rome.
Yeah. Well, it's not too far. When you fly to Italy, do you fly to Milan or do you fly more like to the center of Rome or something?
I'm not sure where our flight is going to, whether Milan or Rome. We'll have to travel either way, deeper into the interior. But I know I've been to Italy once before, and that time I flew into Milan.
Because if you guys fly into Milan, it will be easy for me to go to Milan. It's just a train ride, like 2 hours.
Yeah, we'll probably go to Milan at some point. I also want to take the kids to Venice.
Yeah, but that's in the north.
Yeah.
I mean,
So it's
well, I mean, like if you guys spend like a day in Milan or so, you could also make a trip to Switzerland. I mean, not too far into Switzerland, but see some parts of Switzerland, and that could also be very nice for the kids.
we're gonna be there for like a month.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Also, yeah, you will have time.
Yeah.
And during the summer, like Italy is amazing, but for the kids, Switzerland, I think they will have a lot of fun because it's so green, and the cows, and the lakes, and there is so many things to do here, like bike riding and I don't know, like
Kids don't like
paddleboarding.
that shit anymore. All they do is
They do.
iPad, hot chip, hot Cheetos, and twerking and lying.
No, come on. And paddleboarding and all of these stuff like that. And you have like these massive sliders in the Alps that it's a slider through the mountain. It's just amazing. Like in summer, it's really a lot of fun to Switzerland. So you can make also a visit like a couple of days or so. I can find you stuff to do that it's not too far away from Italy. Some kids stuff, and so you can evaluate.
Yeah. With AI, they can quickly pop out an itinerary for a month.
True. Oh my god, that's really cool. Abby is also going to be here in Switzerland in June.
Oh, it's not June. We're going to be in July. Late July.
Well, July is going to be very hot in Italy.
Yup.
It's perfect beach time.
That's our goal. Always flights to the beaches. Trying to beach out a bit.
Does your wife like the beach?
She loves the beach.
I love that. Well, you should show her the lake beaches.
She does like lake beaches, but she doesn't like them as much as the ocean. The ocean, I get that whole elementary different, at least deep. But lakes are usually pretty placid. Not as much fun to swim in. Also, you don't have as good a beach, usually.
Yeah, it's not sandy, it's more rocky.
Yeah, it's like rocky, it's dirty, there's wildlife, there's gotta be like parking because there's a whole bunch of people because it's a lake.
Well, it depends on the lake, because if you go here in Switzerland to the glaciers, then it's like fully clean, that's drinkable water.
Right. Fresh clean water.
Yeah. That's the water that has recently been defrosted. So you're gonna go see the people?
Well, whenever they get one.
Yeah, well, they should have one actually, right?
Yeah, probably in a couple of weeks.
Is it the first time you guys go to Italy? Or the kids?
Not my kids. My wife and I have gone once before.
Where are you going in Italy?
Tuscany for a while, probably beaches in Sicily.
Nice. I went to Florence.
Yeah. Enjoyed Florence and Rome.
Went to Assisi.
Are you guys gonna go to a hotel or an Airbnb?
Airbnb. You know, trying to find a place in Tuscany.
Nice. Don't wait too long because they get very expensive.
I know. We're supposed to do it on Sunday.
Are you hiring a car?
I think so, yeah. You know, with the kid, you either run into your train stations with 3
How
kids.
many kids are there? Like 3, 4?
3.
What were their ages?
11, 8, and 4.
Oh, that's amazing. I just put 11 on the 8 already. I'll enjoy it so much.
Yeah, it's gonna be like a different planet for them.
My niece came with my sister when she was 9, so like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, and she loved it. I mean, like she loved it. The trip to Europe for her, it was like, oh my god, look at that, or oh, this feels different, or look at that food. And I took them to Disney in Paris,
Mm-hmm.
and she was so happy. Like it was such a beautiful time.
You ever notice how when people actually talk in Edmund's rooms, like when they use the Edmund room as if it were like a normal room, that he hates it. And then he just checks out and he's just sitting there frustrated, just like judging all of us, like, you're wasting time. Anyway, I hope he heard me say that, but he might be taking a shit.